Evening Team Longshot, and today we are roughing it at Kelling Heath in North Norfolk. Right, I think that's that done. Let me in, I'm scared. Welcome back, Team Longshot, and it can't have escaped your notice that I'm not dead after that horrible incident in the last video. Now this week we're off to what was one of my favourite campsites, Kelling Heath Touring Park in North Norfolk. However, upon reading some of the reviews, I've found that not everyone is so enamoured with it. But there are quite a few complaints about noise, lack of entertainment, paying for the pool, complaints about the outdoor pool, the pitch sizes, and I've never seen any of those problems. So I thought it was worth booking and having an investigation. Now, to make it a little bit more difficult to Kelling Heath, we did book at a time where they were really busy because of the 1940s Weekender in North Norfolk. It's a big event. It's definitely worth going to that. But obviously that's going to put a strain on their facilities, on their cleaning capacity and so on. And after the Longacres incident, I thought it was worth having a look. So I'll reveal the price we paid at the end. We went in the middle of September, but like I say, it was a particularly busy weekend for North Norfolk. But I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised by the price. I think you'll be surprised when you hear what it was compared to, say, certain other sites that were quite close by. Club sites, where you get discount. Now, some of the reviews were insinuating that it was like roughing it when you go to Kelling Heath, and I'm pretty sure that's not the case. Anyway, let's go and check it out. Well, the main restaurant is called The Forge, and if this is roughing it, then I'm liking it so far. I am coping with this. I guess the decision now is whether to go back and have gnats on toast or whether to have something in here. Be rude not to, wouldn't it? This is dining Ray Mears style. Well, I've ordered the halloumi burger and it looks a little bit worse for wear. And for pudding, we're having creme brulee and I'm having sticky toffee pudding. And the missus is having a lemon meringue pie. Well, it was a little bit pricey for what you get. My halloumi burger was actually really nice, but it could have come with a bit more garnish and so on. But, you know, it was okay. Now, before you watch this next bit, I want to say that the entertainment is laid on completely free of charge, and as I'll reveal later, they're not even my favourite bits. I do have a few gripes with Kelling Heath, which we'll come to later, so I don't want this to become like an advert for Kelling Heath, but overall, it's looking pretty good so far. Evening, everyone, and this is what camping's all about now, really roughing it. As you can see, we're really on the raggedy edge here. Okay, I've had to stop the music here because I think we'll get a copyright claim. She's pretty accurate to the original. This is like the main hub, and there's the pool. We're going to talk about the pool later. And then the forge is in here, but also where we didn't go is a bar. Little Wi-Fi area. Now in here they've made it look like a sort of traditional bar. I love the brickwork and the beams and everything and the open fire, and it goes right round the side. It's actually really good atmosphere in here. Morning everyone, and as you can see the pitch is a lovely size. I've got one complaint about the pitch, which is this mud here. Well, it's not mud at the moment, but it will very quickly become mud as soon as it rains. But other than that, the pitch is great and the setting is wonderful. And it's really busy because of the 1940s Weekender. There was a lovely old car at this one, but he's now gone down to Sheringham for the show. We'll go and see him at the show. Okay, so after a thrilling day at the 1940s Weekender, where loads of people were dressed up, it was really busy. I'm doing a silent Sunday on it, by the way. We're bringing you crashing down to earth to see a picture of a laundrette. But these things are important. And I have to say, this one looks absolutely immaculate. As you can see in here, it's spotless. Okay, so this is the shower block nearest our motorhome. I love this effect, the cobbles. Let's do the vital toilet test. All looks absolutely immaculate, really modern. Love the decor. Well lit. It's really clean, really clean. The showers, I don't really like the shower head very much. And it's one of them touch sensor showers, which we'll come to later. This one's a huge cubicle. Unfortunately, it's still got those touch buttons, but we'll talk about those later. Hair dryers free of charge. It's really nice. Now this is the red area. It's actually nearly midnight, but I thought I'd come and check it out, especially for you guys. The disabled toilet looks amazing. No touch button in here, luckily. We've got the lever. Washing up facilities are a little bit more basic, but they're undercover. Now I've noticed one of the important things here, they make sure that they check everything regularly. And here's a muck blaster. Now the muck blaster looks better than a lot of other campsites would have for our showers. When it says bathroom, it literally means bathroom. Ooh. Ah, whoops. Hello. I want you to tell me how many campsites you've been to where you can have a bath. I mean a proper, full-size bath. I'm in the bath. I could have a shower afterwards as well, just for kicks. Now, not all these shower blocks are quite so grand. This one's a little bit more dated, but it's still perfectly functional. And they've got loads of capacity here. I don't think you'll ever queue for a shower. Unfortunately, they've still got those touch buttons. Again, all perfectly functional. Don't worry, this is the last one we're going to check, but look at the capacity, it's massive. And this one hasn't got the touch showers, but it has got the push buttons. The baby changing looks absolutely spotless. Handheld shower and toilet and sink. Now, I'm going to nitpick, and it is nitpicking to be honest, but I don't really like this shower arrangement. I don't know the way you have to press the thing in, you get 20 seconds. So you're constantly pressing this button, and it's like a touch screen. And when you've got your hands full of soap and everything, sometimes it doesn't work and you're stabbing it, trying to get it to work every 20 seconds. Another thing I really can't get my head around is this auto flush. You're supposed to leave it and walk out and kind of hope that it flushes, but you see people just standing just outside the cubicle, sort of pretending they've left, trying to fool the button into flushing the toilet, and it just doesn't work, in my opinion. And when you try and flush it manually, often it doesn't work. So you're standing there waving around, and it was a problem they didn't need to make. Well, the weather's closed in here, and after all the excitement of 1940s and looking around toilets, it's time for a site tour. Okay, let's do a little site tour now. And if you want to avail yourself of one of their mobile homes and have it sited at Kelling Heath. There's a few on display for sale. This one's £80,000 and they do look really nice, but remember you've got those rather hefty site fees. Now, apparently you've got to contact them for a bespoke quote. Just taking this opportunity while there's no kids on this little play park to show it to you. It's just outside the village square. It's quite cute. And another good idea they've got on the park is that you can hire cycles. You can cycle loads of places around Kelling Heath. Now, if you're posh and you've got an electric car, then you can charge it here. I looked all around the post and it doesn't say what the charge is. I guess it's because it's dynamic pricing. So you have to download the app to find out the current price. And these are some of the lodges you can hire. And I have hired one of these in the past and we'll do it again for a future video. But I have to say, I think they're really good. Almost looks too much like Centre Parcs. Is that a bad thing? A lot of the site is covered with heathland and small saplings. And you can see that the motorhomes over the other side there, and behind me there's motorhomes as well. There's also a really cool play park here. This play park hasn't been here long and it's fantastic. I'll show you the actual pièce de résistance in a minute because it's over the other end of this big field. Now this is the field they use for the stargazing. And here it is. Look at this. This is absolutely amazing. I don't know what it'd be like in the wet, but it's a dry day and I'm really tempted to go and play on it. Unfortunately, I've just had to pick a brief moment where there's no children playing on it. I mean, I think this sort of extra is absolutely fantastic. You've got to think the last site we visited was more money. And okay, it wasn't exactly the same time of year, but it was more money and they didn't even have a swing. Beep, beep. It's good they provide for the really small kids. Anyone who watched the Longacres video will know I'm a little bit of a stickler when it comes to rubbish on the site and site maintenance. So let's go and see how Kelling Heath checks out on that score. Random rubbish inspection time on this fully serviced pitch, hard standing. Let's have a look. Well, that was an epic failure. I've looked all the way along this row, all along this entire field here, and in some of the pitches, and I can't find one piece of rubbish, not one. I kept seeing white things, but they're actually wood pigeon feathers, and I found an egg. Okay, at last, I've found a piece of rubbish, and it's someone who's chucked their fag out of their car window because they'd rather have it in the countryside than in their car, and we all know what we call those type of people, don't we? I don't know what you want. So we've driven just a few miles up the road and we've gone to the Pigs, which is a spa and a restaurant, and it gets great reviews. Now the price is very similar to what we were paying on Kelling Heath site. One of the things I love about the Pigs is that at the back of the pub they've got this games room and it's got a shuffleboard, it's got table football, pool. It's fantastic for the kids and they don't want to even come back and have their dinner. And then outside, unfortunately, they've got rid of the zip wire they used to have, but they've still got this really great climbing frame area. Okay, dinner's arrived, and it does look nice, but it is a little bit small. I could have got this at the fish and chip shop, to be honest. Well, it was really nice, and now I'm having ice cream, meringue, and some passion fruit. Okay, so let's have a look at some of these reviews, and they're not all great, to be honest with you. I'm going to pick out some of my favourites. They do kind of contradict each other, some of them. Some say there's too much entertainment, as in it's too loud. Some people say there's not enough entertainment. There's wildlife that's disturbing them somehow. Anyway, fantastic location, horrible, horrible campsite. I'm not sure what god I wronged. Wow. The pictures themselves were so cramped, and they were referring to the red area. We're going to check that out in a moment. Apparently the square now has loud music and kids screaming and food vans everywhere. But then further down, there's a review that says there isn't enough entertainment, there was nowhere to drink, no arcades, nothing for the kids, no lighting. It's called a torch. And it is a dark sky site. My very, very favourite review is the one that says that Kelling Heath looked like the Somme. Now, anyone who knows a little bit about history would know what the Somme is. Let's go and see if it really does look like the Somme. But in all seriousness, there is one common theme, which is a lot of people say that there's noisy neighbours, which isn't Kelling Heath's fault, but that they're not being really dealt with by security when they're complained about. So that's a fair point. This next person was from Chelmsford. Sorry to anyone from that area, but they obviously have never seen any wildlife before, because they complain that there's wasps everywhere and that the crows wake them up at 4 in the morning. They're complaining about the crows. I just find it unbelievable. Perhaps it's just me. Okay, well, let's go and check out these red pictures and see if they are as bad as everyone's saying they are. Okay, so this is the fabled red area. You can hear the steam train in the background. This guy's got a pretty big setup. He's got an awning, a caravan, and obviously he's got to park his car there. And it does look fairly tight, to be honest with you. It could do with another 3 or 4 feet. I wouldn't say it's terrible, but I don't know where they'd sit. Unless they sit in the awning, of course. I don't know where they'd sit outside. You can see it is pretty muddy. It is now September. And these pictures are fully serviced. Simple things like this make a big difference to your holiday, that make it just that little tiny bit easier when you're draining your water or whatever. Well, we're right on the edge of the park now, and I feel like I should be whispering, to be honest with you, but user feedback, people don't like the whispering. There's various chalets scattered around in the forest, but because they're quite far apart, it still feels really peaceful in here. What I need to do for the long shot family is hire one of these lodges out. Now, I have had one before, but it was a few years ago now. Actually, I found it really nice. Now, a major part of the reason you might be going to Kelling Heath, apart from the fact you can't afford Centre Parcs, who can these days, is to go in the pool, possibly the gym if you're insane, and the steam room and sauna. Now, don't expect Centre Parcs levels of slides and wave machines and stuff like that. It's a lovely building, but the pool is just a rectangle pool, but it is quite big. Now, as of late 2024, the prices for the pool are as follows. You've got a 1-day pass is for an adult £7, child is £4.75. 3-day pass is £15, a child is £10. And a 7-day pass is £23 and a child is £15. That sounds pretty good value to me. And you get the gym thrown in as well. And obviously you can use the steam room, the sauna and the jacuzzi as well. Now, the outdoor pool is only open in the height of summer for pretty obvious reasons, but it is free for guests as I speak today. So you could go there, stay in a tent and get free access to the outside pool, which sounds like a blinking good deal to me. Don't expect the Centre Parcs pool. Expect a really nice, well-appointed pool in a lovely building. Okay, so let's do a supermarket sweep style tour of the shop. Something I find really satisfying about walking around these campsites at night. Reminds me of when I used to go to the Star Party here. Every year in September, around the time of the new moon. The occasional whispered word. And like just then you hear the animals in the undergrowth and the bark of a deer and the stars. stay here all night. I'm a weirdo. I'm very odd. Okay, I'm going to take you on my favourite walk in the whole holiday park. It's down there, through the woods, to the lake. Oh, and to the train station. Okay, this is one of my favourite walks around the 300 acres of Kelling Heath, and it leads steeply through the forest to the train station. After about 10 minutes, we've reached the fishing pond, and you can purchase fishing licences from the shop, but you have to have your own licence from the Environment Agency. Okay, we're reaching the conclusion of this tour, which was literally whistle stop. I am actually sweating. Us East Anglian people aren't used to any sort of hill, and I've climbed at least 10 metres there. I'm knackered. Okay, so I'm going to show you the breakfast and the lunch on the cafe at Kelling Heath. Rather sad looking breakfast bun, unfortunately. The massive pot of tea almost makes up for it. It's nice to see they do lots of different teas. The potatoes are a little bit better, but it could have done with some salad, but overall it's pretty good. So it's time for you to find out how much we paid for 2 nights at Kelling Heath. We paid £34 a night. Now I think given it was a busy weekend, okay, it wasn't in the summer holidays, but it was a busy weekend for North Norfolk, given it was the 1940s weekender, it was a really good price. Now I did look up the West Runton Club site prices for the weekend after that, which would have been far less busy at the end of September, and it was way more money for far less. I loved the grounds, I loved the pool, I thought it was a reasonable price, the food was okay, but it's a campsite, or is it a campsite? Are these campsites now becoming holiday parks, and we're now raising our expectations? Is this what the modern camper wants these days? Feel free to give your opinion in the comments below, but to be honest with you, I would happily go back to Kelling Heath. It's one of my favourite sites, and I was worried after reading some of them reviews that it slipped downhill, but it certainly hasn't, and I'll see you there. Now, if you want to see a campsite that isn't getting it right, watch this video next. See you next time at Long Shot Travel.